After after the Wyoming game, you guys weren't afraid to talk about, hey, the last time you played there, things went wrong. Last time you played San Diego State here, you were a little fired up afterward. Some of the comments maybe that Rocky had said. How would you kind of describe the emotion of playing San Diego State, and even what do you remember about that 4 years ago?
Yeah, well, a little more maturity from 4 years ago, and so I think. What I've learned, everybody's fighting for their team. Everybody's fighting for their team. And I got a lot of respect for San Diego State, always have. And I know what Coach Long's done, with that program. And, same with our team, proud of our football team and our growth as well. So, none of that really matters. What matters is, how we go out there and we play. And really, between coaches, that doesn't matter one bit. It's really the players that have to go out there and get it done. So, they're a good football team. We're a good football team, I think, and this will be a great opportunity for these guys, for both teams to go out there and play and let our guys go cut it loose. And it really comes back to us and how we prepare and what our mindset is. And I know our guys are going to be studying. I know they're watching film. I know they got a week up on us, in their preparation. And regardless of whatever they think about playing here, it really doesn't matter. What matters is we find a way to go out there and be successful again. That's what matters. And I hope our guys will do that. I hope that the success we had last week, breeds more success, and our guys come back out and they work harder, because we're going to have to do that, because there's plenty of things that you all saw and we saw in that last game that just aren't clean. We won the game, and just because we won doesn't mean that the little things that showed up in the loss against Oklahoma State don't matter now either. And if you gloss over that because of the W, then we stay the same. We don't get any better. But this is I think this game, Boise State, San Diego State, and I know it's every couple years and it rotates. This is a great opportunity. I think this is an exciting game that players. They know players on their team. We got a lot of guys from California, so it's an exciting matchup. I think it adds a little value to it.
You guys have so many playmakers, it seems, the guys that are truly going out and making plays for you guys. How have you guys been able to develop that? Is it recruiting? Is it a change in mentality? Is it all the little things coming together? Or what is it? Because it just seems like on any given time you can run 4 or 5 guys out there and they all have a chance to really make something happen.
Yeah, wide receiver room in particular, that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, I think it's a little of everything. Hopefully we're recruiting the right guys. I do think it's development. Coach Key saw in that room. I think competition is a big part of it. You're watching all the teams that we compete against. I think those guys internally compete against each other, and a friendly competition. But still, at the end of the day, you put in X amount of plays, guys want to be in there, they're going to compete for those opportunities during practice as well. And it starts with install all the way through the last day of practice and the last rep. And I think that's what, if you have good competition, it breeds improvement. And, guys get a little taste. They've scored. They've had some big plays. They've had opportunities to get the ball in their hands. And now, everybody wants that. And there's one ball. So, how do you get yourself in a position to create that opportunity? You got to compete. You got to be one of the best, at that route or for that play, so you can get moved to that position and have a chance to be the guy that gets it. So I think that's a big part of it too. And to me, that does fall back on recruiting. Hopefully you can create some competition. Hopefully, and then if you don't, let's just say you're a starter. Let's say the guy behind you just isn't quite pushing you. You're just 2 levels ahead. The thing that frustrates me is when we have guys that aren't being pushed because the guy behind him just isn't quite there yet. But then the guy in front of him, the starter, go ahead, he settles in. That's frustrating. And, I think guys have got to be they got to push themselves. Go watch some NFL tape. Go pop on a guy at your position in the NFL. He's guaranteed better than you are. So watch what he does. And I just think that competition is what pushes everybody to elevate their game. And I think in the receiver room, it's been like that. And also probably a little bit of that edge. At the beginning of the year, everybody had question marks. So did we. We didn't know what that receiver room was going to look like. So it's not just everybody on the outside. It's who's going to step up, who's going to make plays, and how we're going to replace some production with Said. But I said it before. Spurbeck left. Said stepped up, and guys seem to do that. So I think there's a little tradition in that too, where when guys leave, in that room, guys know there's opportunities to step up and do something special, and they're kind of, at this point, doing those things. But it's not just one guy, it's a group of guys, which is, I think for us, makes us more explosive on the offensive side when we have multiple players touching the ball like we have been.
When you think about our Rocky Long defense, what's kind of the first thing that comes to mind, and how much is sort of confusion and bringing things to different places a part of what makes them so tough defensively?
Yeah, well, he's, you go back, I don't know how many years, he's always been an innovative guy on the defensive side, so that kind of has continued, with what he's done. And you think about guys playing fast, which they do. You think about guys being physical, which they are. You think about guys, that are in areas to make tackles, which they are. And then there's going to be some type of package blitz-wise. There's going to be some type of pressures that they're good at, and they do consistently. And then, there'll be a little bit of a wrinkle off it, maybe just from a different pattern, but still very similar to what they do. So, that's what good defensive coordinators do. I mean, they do what they do, and they do it well, and then they've got wrinkles in there. And certainly with a bye week, there's going to be something. They've got time to work on it, and we would do the same thing. We would spend that time to have something in there as well. And we knew this pre-planning. This week was coming up, so I think our offensive staff, and I think our defensive staff, they know where the bye weeks fall, and so they prepare for that earlier in the year and try to come up with their own plans and try to get an advantage that way. But always well coached, always, hard to go against. And, that's the fun challenge, I think, for us on the offensive side, and that's the fun challenge for our offensive staff and Brett. How do we go out there and try to figure out, the best way to defeat what they're doing, and that becomes the chess match in the game. And you play against somebody really, really good at what they do, and he is, and you got the players in the field that are doing their part. That becomes the fun challenge in it. Coming back home, having a chance to play here in front of our fans, hopefully it's a sellout crowd. We got great energy, great vibe. It makes it difficult for San Diego State when they come into our place to play, and we take advantage of that.